Peace and love, YouTube family. How are we doing? How are we doing? All right. Before we get this thing rolling tonight, before we get it rolling, let's put some links in the chat. How we feeling on this amazing, I almost said Friday. It ain't even Friday, baby. Wednesday. Wednesday. How we doing? How are we feeling? How are we feeling? Let's get the energy up in here. Peace and love. We're not going to be long tonight. Actually, Dr. Nalani is having an event I'd like to attend. Hopefully, I don't know if she sent me the link. I have to find out. Let me check that really quick, family, because I do want to. If there is an event, okay, I don't see a link. Okay, well, peace and love to everybody who is here, and those of you who are watching the recording tonight. We are going to talk about a conversation that may not get talked about. So, welcome to episode 3 of Children Health Wednesdays. This will be on a repeat up until school. So, we'll do it every week up until school, and then we'll do it every other week after school begins. Okay. And Wednesdays are the only day of the week that I see children clients. So, we chose Wednesday to do special episodes and for you to have the information you need to take care of your child's health. There's so many topics that we're going to cover in these episodes. The first episode, we talked about the skin. We talked about giving your child a gentle parasite cleanse, right? We talked about gently supporting their gut and their liver at their ages. I believe last week we talked about, what did we talk about? Colds and flus and what is called cancer, and childhood obesity is rising, and we talked about that. And so I'm in the sauna right today at the gym, and I came up with this topic as I'm reading my book on brain cells. Right, I'm reading this book on brain cells, and then the spirit hit me because I didn't know what the live was going to be about tonight. I've been asking people to write me and email me. Matter of fact, you can email me if you have a specific topic that you'd like me to touch on for Children's Health Wednesdays. Okay, so I'm going to drop my email in just a second, and you'll see that in the description as well. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, perfect. The spirit hit me. We're going to talk about children's brain health, right? That is a big one because a lot of us are experiencing challenges with our children when it comes to focusing, when it comes to just remembering things, right? Just staying on task when it comes to their schoolwork, when it comes to just everyday life, okay? And so that is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about your children's brain on nutrition, right? And actual studies, not just me sitting up here and telling you this does that, and let's hope for the best. Take that, boom, you're done. Okay, this actually has studies behind what we are going to be discussing today. Okay, so we're going to do this in a 30 or 40-minute live, really 30 minutes. Let's keep it cute, let's keep it sweet at the 30-minute mark so that we'll have more eyes on this live because you know how people are. They see 40 minutes, they see an hour, they ain't gonna wanna click on that. Okay. Not saying, but I'm just saying we know YouTube University is for those who come to actually learn. Okay. So let's get right into it. Before we get started, while you are here, for those of you who are watching live, and for those of you who are watching the recording, please make sure you use that like button and like this live, share, subscribe, do all the things. Okay, we want to get this in the algorithm. I was looking at my YouTube, all of my videos, and I'm like, oh yeah, we got to get this up. Like, I'm providing more content. I'm here, y'all. Like, we got to get this library of information up, and it's all in here. It's all in here, and it's coming out. Okay, pardon me if I look a little tired. It's a little hot, but we here, and we're going to get this information out. How is that? How does that sound? Okay, so when I think about our children's brains, right? First of all, it's not being fed on the level that a brain requires to function at its most optimal level. So sometimes we get frustrated with our children, like, oh, why are they not doing this? Or why are they not listening? And, and we're not looking at, well, okay, what do they need? What does a brain require every single day to function? What is in my brain? What makes up my brain, right? What is those things that helps me to fire off thoughts? Like when you have a thought and you're like, "Oh yes." And we find ourselves, I'm seeing this in children too, what I'm about to say, we're finding ourselves and children can't remember something that they were told less than 5 minutes ago. I kid you not. I remember standing in front of a child about 12 years old, and the person had told them something. And I came right behind her and I said, "What did she say? What did she say where you were going?" And she looked up and she was like, "I forgot." And I was like, "Girl, she just told you like 2 minutes ago." And but my brain assessed it and was like, we have a challenge here. This is not something like you just, oh, they're kids, they just kind of forget. Like, baby, that was 2 minutes ago. Okay, so no shame, but this is something that we need to correct now, because when we get mature, I don't want to say older, when we're maturing in life, we start seeing that, right? Slow synapses. We're having a thought, but we can't grasp what is it that we want to say. It's not firing off like it used to. You'll be like, "Oh God, I forgot what I was gonna say," right? And so, what is that? What is the mechanisms of that? Like, what is controlling that? What do we need to feed that part of your brain to have better firing off of your neuronal synapses? Okay, so the book that I was reading, it was very interesting because I opened the book and that was the first chapter that I turned to, and it was talking about the brain. Now I'm going to go into this what we are going to be going over, and it's not. I'm going to give you a little bit of anatomy. Okay, is that cool with y'all? All right, put a yes in your head or just put a yes in the comments while you're watching this live. Okay, because this is important. When you start to begin to understand your body, how it works, you begin to appreciate it more. You begin to say, oh my gosh, my brain is doing all of that. Like I have all of these inner workings, and you can, yeah, yeah, like you have all of these different parts, moving parts. It's not just, oh, I have neurons. What is supporting the neurons, right? What is helping the neurons to help you? What is helping the neurons to help you have better neuronal transmitting, right? To have memory, to have to protect against inflammation as you mature in life, which these studies are all these studies and what we're talking about is linked to what is called Alzheimer's and dementia. Can we prevent this when we mature into our elder years? I don't want to say older, okay? And so let's talk a little bit on anatomy and physiology. All right, so around your neurons, first of all, in your nervous system and around the nerves, you have something called the myelin sheath. Now, that is like, think of it like you have insulation, and it's covering your windows and protecting your windows from cold or any kind of, whatever weather that you weatherization, right, that you're done in your home, and you put that insulation on your windows. That is essentially what the myelin sheath is. And so it protects the nerves while also transmitting nutrients and make sure it's protected, protecting signaling, all of those things. And so now what happens? Let's look at this here, right? I want you to look at and just pretend like these, well, these are all nerves, right? And let's look at and say, okay, all of these have myelin sheath covering it. What happens when the myelin sheath begins to dissipate? It begins to deteriorate. Now you have what is called so much inflammation that is entering directly on the nerve. So maybe this will help you understand and paint a picture. Fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is a nerve challenge. When you have pain all over your body, right? Those nerves are naked. That's the best way I can tell you. The nerves are naked. It has nothing protecting it. Okay. And so now what's happening, right? You're having issues with firing off thoughts. You're having issues with pain, right? You're having issues with cognitive function, not able to think clearly, right? And so this is important, family, right? So that you can really picture in your mind as to how your brain is working. All right. So I'm gonna actually go into some of what we're going to talk about, the actual studies, all right, as far as the what antioxidants do for the brain, what you can actually do, because this is not, oh, I'm naming a problem here. This is naming the challenge and also providing a solution. Okay. And so let me go to it. I'm going to share my screen in just a moment, but I want to pull it up so that we have the right stuff pulled up. Okay. One moment, family, peace and love. Thank you so much for being here. This is so super important because we're talking about brain health and we're talking about our children's brains on nutrition. Okay. So this is something that we definitely need before school because let me tell you, okay, let me tell you, to have your child operating at optimal level, don't you care about that? I know I do. Absolutely, I care about that. Okay. Let's why am I not finding, okay, there we go. Okay. All right. Okay, so here, let's see. Let me see. Now we got it. Okay. So let's go back to what we were talking about before, as far as the understanding that the nerves are naked when you don't have that protection around it. Now you have something else. You have something else that's protecting those firing offs, right? Understanding that that is what's helping you to have better thought, right? Clearer thought, cognitive function. Your child can't function. Why? What are we feeding our children on a daily basis, right? What is the number one thing that I'm going to say that is tearing and stripping away that sheath? It's making the nerves naked, it's making the neurons naked, right? So that your children are having issues with thought processing, with remembering, with retaining information, right? That's the key. You can teach a child something and the next thing you know, they'll forget it. So why are we not retaining? And what is that thing that we're doing on a daily basis that's stopping that? Sugar. Okay. Sugar. That is like, I remember when I was I had a client with fibromyalgia and she was in pain like all the time. Let me make sure that she was in pain all the time, and I explained that to her, helping her understand why, that the fibromyalgia, you're looking at that sheath that protects the nerves and it's like damaged. You have little there protecting it. So now you're feeling all of the inflammatory signals onto the nerve. And so what tears that away? Sugar tears and strips it away because it's a chemical, right? It's, first of all, it's out of nature, it's out of balance. It's not even supposed to be in the body. So what happens when you eat sugar? There's things that we say sugar, your brain on sugar. It literally strips away that protection coat around your neurons and your nerve cells. Okay. And so now the thinking that you're supposed to have, all of that protection that you're supposed to have in each of all of the areas of the brain, also not just the neurons, but what's protecting and supporting the neurons, which is called glial cells. It's stripping all of that away. And so now we're finding ourselves and our children having issues processing a thought, remembering something that, okay, we should be asking our children, what did you learn in school today? I forgot. Yeah, my daughter done that a couple of times. I'm like, what do you mean you forgot? Okay, like it just happened like 4 hours ago. It just happened. So they're so young, and we need to protect their precious little brains. And so, one of the things that you can begin to do, of course, clean up house. Start taking away the sugar, right? And so instead of like shocking the child and saying, I'm taking this away from you, right? Begin to start replacing what they're eating with other alternatives, but making sure that it doesn't have white sugar or cane sugar in the ingredients, right? This is a step by step process. This is actually what I do with a lot of parents. I do have a program for children that I make it personal to you. So it's not a program where it's like, this is what we're doing. Every child I approach personally and differently. Okay. And so these are one of the things. You get a cookbook, you get an understanding of how you can start implementing these things for your child. Okay. But the sugar is number one. Your brain on sugar is like your brain on any other drug, right? I mean, we've heard this over and over. Most of times, I'm speaking to the choir, but most of us may never heard of this before. That the sugar, or what we know as white sugar, is molecules away from, or derivatives away from the drug cocaine. And so, thinking about that, and you're having that every single day when you're giving your child any type of snacks or whatever you're feeding your child. Dunkin' Donuts in the morning, giving them donuts in the morning. Like, this is your child's brain on sugar. And then they begin to crash in the middle of the day. And we're like, oh my goodness, like, well, what can I do? I remember, I love telling stories, and I'm going to tell a story. My brother, my twin brother, we were coming up, and he was having that challenge, just staying focused, wanting to do his work and things like that. And my mother at the time, there was a product by Nature's Plus. I think it was by Nature's Plus. If somebody can correct me in the comments, it's by Nature's Plus. It was called Attention. I don't even think they make it anymore. Anybody remember that back in the day? The brand is called Nature's Plus, and they used to make this brain thing, liquid called Attention, and it was a different taste. It was like a very, very peculiar taste. And so it came in like this funky bottle, like this cool looking bottle, and you would take like a capful and you would give it to your child. My mother gave it to both of us, and she gave it more to my brother. And I would say after, oh my goodness, it wasn't even long. It was like a week or so later. Like, my brother was a different person. He was waking up early. He wasn't giving her a hard time waking up for school. He was doing his homework, wanting to do it. Like, he had, more vigor. And so, another thing that we may not realize or we overlook on is that sometimes our children can be depressed, right? And so we need to, get that, all of that flowing in here too, in the gut, because most of your happy hormones are there in the gut. And so I just remember he was like a totally different person, and he was smiling more, right? If you find your children just always mad like this, yes, mom. And around those ages, like 12 years old, especially young men, okay? Listen. If they're not have like positive male role model in their life at the time, or um just transitioning through like little kid to 12, 13, most of them are just like have this like straight face. And so it's not even that they're angry or they're upset at something at the time. It's their brain. It's their brain. And so we need to wake that up. We need to feed their brain. Okay, so number one, the sugar, we have to wipe that out. And so what can we do? Let's start with the solutions. We have about 10 more minutes left on its live. So I want to give you really good solutions so you have something to walk away with. All right. So, of course, you already know what I'm about to say, right? For those of you watching live, for those of you watching the recording, you may not have never heard of me before. This is probably your first time watching this live. We stated the problem. The problem is that our children are having an issue with focusing, paying attention, memory, retention centers in their brains, retaining information. This is the perfect time to start preparing your child's brain before school. Okay, what are you doing to prepare your child's brain before school? And one of the things that I do every single day with my daughter, and I'm going to show you right now. Of course, this is something that, listen, we all need to have, right? But especially for our children. Okay, so what I do every single day for my child, I'm going to share the screen in just a moment. For some reason, it just like, is it? Oh, it's going to let me share that. Cool. All right. Juice Plus. Okay. Now, you constantly hear me talk about Juice Plus. That's the first thing that we're going to talk about. Why? Because most of us, even as adults, we're not getting the necessary minerals and antioxidants that our brain actually needs to function at optimal health. Like I started off this live by saying, okay, we don't actually give it conscious thought of what our bodies need on a daily basis to function. I'm going to take me for example. I live a high active lifestyle. I exercise about 5 times a week, and not just, I'm talking like lifting, training, strengthening, and conditioning, exercising. And so that's naturally producing oxidation in my body, exercise induced oxidation. So I need something every single day that's going to help to give me the antioxidants so that I can protect my body against exercise induced oxidation. And let me tell you, I take this every day. I ran out, I want to say 6 days ago, almost a week. Family, I am feeling the effects of not having this in my body, which is why, you see me in a different energy, right? Like usually, like, I mean, yes, I'm live because I'm live talking to you, and I have to have this energy. It just always invokes that in me because I love teaching. But I know how I feel when my brain has this stuff. And so, oh yeah, best believe it's on the way. But what I'm basically saying is that this is your child's brain on nutrition. And I'm not just talking about, oh, take this and take that. I'm actually going to back it up. Y'all want me to back it up with facts? Come on, let's back it up with facts, because too many times we hear someone talking about take this product, take this, take that, and fact check. What a fact checks, okay? What a Carfax at, okay? And so one of the things that I did a fact check on was, were there any studies on the actual Juice Plus? Like, was it any study specifically on brain health? And so I went here to the research and clinical studies, and then I scrolled down and I found it right here: cognitive function antioxidants. Right. So we're not even going to read the entire study, but I'm just going to give you a gist of it. All right. What they mean by placebo controlled, double blind, and randomized. Placebo control meaning that they gave one group Juice Plus, and then they gave the other group something that looks like Juice Plus, but it wasn't Juice Plus. Okay. And double blind meaning that none of the participants in the study knew what it was. Both sides. They didn't know they were taking Juice Plus, and they didn't know they were taking this placebo. So imagine two groups of people, and you give them something, but they don't know, have any idea what they're taking, but they're participating in this clinical study. Okay. And the average range of age for this study was 33 years old. Okay. So I just want to be clear that it wasn't done on children. We do have another study that's coming and being published on the site for children, but we just want to make sure that we're factual and correct and letting you know that it was done on healthy adults around the age of 33. And it took two groups, right? It was, men and women. And the group, they did a mixed match. So they did a 16-week study, then they stopped for 4 weeks and they restarted again. So when they took the first group and they gave them Juice Plus, and then they gave the other group the placebo, then they switched it. They did this a switch, and then they gave the group that had the placebo Juice Plus and gave the people that had the Juice Plus the placebo, right? And what they found was that the cognitive function increased, memory centers increased, and they actually tested this by using cognitive brain testing, right? Like it's called the Stroop or the RIST, RIST, the TESEN. These are tests that they use to test brain function. And that is what they found after that 16-week period. And so, no wonder why my brain actually thrives on this stuff. Like, I need it, I cannot go without it. And so now you're going to actually get this stuff for your children. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about your children's brain on nutrition. If you're just coming in, you definitely want to rewind this when it's posted. We're talking about your children's brain on nutrition. We're talking about preparing your child's brain before school. Okay. We're talking about things that damage the brain, damage the support around the cells of the brain, that damage the nerves, right? Why are we seeing our children, lethargic and tired and not having faster thought? I mean, they're children, they should be firing off like that, right? And so that's one part. Okay. And what's amazing about the Juice Plus, when you order your own order, your child gets it completely for free, family, for free. So they're going to be getting that for free. I'm going to share that one more time, and then we're going to move on. All right, we're about 26 minutes in, so we're going to be ending this shortly. We want to make this nice, short, sweet, okay? But this is something I really wanted to share with you, that I think when I come up here and I talk and I'm teaching and I'm showing you not just a problem, but I'm also giving you the solution, that y'all don't be believing me and hearing me when I say that it's actually free for children. Yes, ages 4 and up until adult of 25. And when you order your own, order for yourself, your child would get it for free. There's no catch. There's no, oh, well, what's the catch? Because nobody gives anything for free. There's no catch. You get your order and they get theirs. That is it. And this is, look at this. Look, oh my God. 89% of parents say that their children will become more health aware, right? They're missing fewer days of school, 60%. They're eating more fruits and vegetables. They're drinking more water. They're staying more hydrated. They're being more aware of what they need. Because when you see, this is so powerful. Like, when you introduce these things in the home, your child is going to want it. Like, my daughter is being raised this way. So she can't go without her shakes, right? Like, she likes to start her day off with a protein shake, especially before school. That's her breakfast. She started her day with a protein shake, and then she might have, some fruit. That is a routine that we started together. I started her like that since she was a baby. Okay. And so a lot of times when we're talking about our children and what they're eating and what they're not eating, baby, we the parents. Okay. We's the parents. We are the parents. We, as mothers and fathers, control what goes in that home. And so you can absolutely do this, family, and you're not alone. And so if you're having a challenging time with your children and, restructuring their eating, Juice Plus is like the best, the first place I would start, that first place to start, because it's going to help you to bridge the gap into them getting those antioxidants flooding in their brain. And next thing you know, your son or your daughter's coming home and they're doing their homework and you ain't even tell them to do it. They're cleaning up. They're doing things. They have more energy. They're smiling more, right? Because you now are fueling their brain. You're fueling their gut, where most of the, like I said, that serotonin, which is responsible for mood, which is responsible for happiness, which is responsible for your light, all that smile coming out. And you're feeding them that every day. And that's why they're like, lighter, smiling more, right? So this is your child's brain on real nutrition, the antioxidants that your child's brain need, not today, not only for the school year, not just once a month, not only for 4 months, every single day. And I will never stop giving my daughter this amazing juice plus. I'm going to share it one more time. I know I said I was going to share it one more time, but I'm going to share it one more time because I have to just, oh my God. And y'all know if I'm showing you a product like this, okay, listen, I don't big up products unless it's my own. And Juice Plus is the only other company that I'm like, yeah. I mean, other than my brother KT, shout out to KT the Artist, we love his products too. There's but so many people that I've had their products, and I'm like, yo, yeah, that's the real deal. I do my research. So before I even talk about a product, including my own, I make sure that I'm coming with the facts, right? We're gonna get that Carfax. All right. And so when you get your own order for yourself, now your brain is going to be on nutrition. Your child will automatically get it for free. Ask me if I'm lying. Somebody put in the comments if you're there. All right. Somebody, oh, peace and love, Kim. I see you. Yes, Kim, put in the comments how it is for you when it comes to this amazing Juice Plus. And am I lying about it being free for children? Right? Because I think sometimes we feel like, is it really free? Like, they really just giving it away. Yes, they really are giving away real nutrition. Okay. So the last thing I would say to prepare your child for the school year, especially their brains, we do have our amazing selection on my website, my Herbal website. When it comes to children's health, we have our brain food blend. When it has various herbs in there for memory function. Of course, when it comes to herbs, you want to give the child half the dosage that you give yourself. So we do have our brain food blend. I'm going to pull that up so that you can see what that actually looks like. And that is on my website. So we talked about the nutrition. We're talking about the herbs now. And so this is something I made a picture last year of the brain food tea for my daughter. And it has a very interesting taste, especially with the ginseng. So this is a powerful blend, family. This is not something you will give your child like the whole cup like you would yourself. You have to do it half the dosage that you would give yourself. So if the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons, or I would give them half a teaspoon to 6 ounces of water. Okay. And that's what I did for my daughter. And it really, really helped her throughout the school year as far as like staying focused, brain functioning, cognitive functioning, just retaining information. Definitely something that I would absolutely invest in when it comes to your child's brain on real ingredients, right? Real herbs, real foods. We already talked about the Juice Plus before. Okay. Let me go sharing. Then, last but not least, what your child is eating. Okay. More mushrooms. I wish we had more time I want to do a whole live on just mushrooms in your brain. It deserves its own, like lane. Because let me tell you, the research is not even just the research. Like, I'm talking about in here, family. I'm talking about firsthand knowledge and understanding of what these mushrooms do. And what's so interesting, I'm going to type in something in the chat. I thought this was so interesting, even though technically etymology wise it has no relation, but I just couldn't help but say, hold on a second. Y'all don't see the wordplay here with these words. I looked and I was like, hold on, y'all see that in the comments? Myelin and mycelium. They're both words that are Greek derived. And I said, oh, I wonder if there is some correlation. Now, before we go into it, myelin is that sheath that we talked about that covers the nerve cells, right? And so when you're looking at your nerve cell, think of it as it has clothes on, right? And so when that sheath is ripped, meaning the sheath is what protects your nerves, right, from damage. It actually helps with signaling, it helps with nutrients and all. It's like that coat around, it's like insulated fiber around your nerve cell. But when it's stripped away, you have no protection. And then now the pain signals are even like, oh God, you're sensitive to pain. You're going to have challenges with thought, thinking, cognitive function. So that's what the myelin sheath is. Then look at the word mycelium, which is the mushroom network. And that is the mushroom network, but then the mycelium is the network, that the supporting network around the nerves. So even though you look it up and you're like, it has no correlation etymology wise, you can't help but look at the fact that mushrooms are good for the nerves. It's good for the network of the nerve. Matter of fact, I'm quoting my brother KT, the same constituents of the mushroom we have in our bodies. The same constituents in the mushroom we have in our bodies. Our bodies need mushrooms. And I love them. All right. I absolutely love them. I love every I love the king. I love the oysters. I love the mataki. I love the baby bella. I eat mushroom almost on a day. Like mushrooms are like the core of my lifestyle. And sometimes I don't think, wow, like I'm really feeding my brain. Like I'm feeding my brain. So that's going to be a whole nother live. But yeah, give your child some mushrooms, okay? Make sure, and don't be frying them up either. I ain't talking about deep frying. I'm talking about like saute, keep the nutrients intact, introduce it to their foods and things. But yeah, mushrooms are super, super powerful. And so that's going to be a whole nother live. We're going to be talking about mushrooms and your brain on mushrooms. Yeah, that's that. It deserves its own lane. But I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this live. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking this serious and making sure that our children have the nutrition they need so that their brains are functioning. Because a lot of times we don't think of what is happening in our brain and why we're not having the successes that we want, right? Whether it's more energy, just getting up and exercising, like stop beating yourself up for the things that you're not doing. It's that your brain needs real food. All right. And that is what we showed here tonight. All right. I did put the link in the chat. We do have a back to school special for children iridology appointment. The link is posted it's pinned at the top, and it will also be in the description of this live. Okay. I only see children on Wednesdays. Okay. So when you book your appointment, you'll select the Wednesday, and then your child will be on my calendar to get their iridology appointment. Okay. My hormone root reset program is a 90-day program for women to understand reproductive disease beyond the name and start really healing your body. Fibroids, ovarian cysts, reproductive cancers, breast issues, hormone issues, whatever it is. Okay. Come see me. We have an entire program that is structured around you bringing full restoration to your body. All right. So you can apply to work with me. I'm going to post the link for the apply to work with me for the 90-day hormone root reset program. I see results in women within the first week. Okay. And by the 90 days, they are experiencing more iron, more energy. Okay. We have their reproductive organs on nutrition, on real herbs, and they're responding so well. And I'm the story. I mean, if you go ahead and look at my old videos right now, you see my face is like more like defined. But I took myself through this program last year. Last year I wasn't looking all a little cut like this. I took myself through this program. I didn't even name it a program. I knew something was going on with my body. All right. I was gaining weight. I was growing chin hair, all of the things. And I said, oh my goodness, hormonal imbalance. I got to do something. And I took myself through this specific program. And when I started finding success, I said, I have to package this up and present it to other women because I know there's other women out there that is going through the same thing. It's not going to be something that you talk to your sister, your mother, your grandmother about, like, hey, baby, how you doing? Yes, yeah, oh, them chin hairs just keep growing. That is not something that you're going to feel confident to talk about. And so what I'm doing is helping you to feel confident to show up as yourself again, because we are morphing, we're changing, especially after we turn 30. Does turning 30 automatically means that we have to decline in our health? No, ladies, you can show up beautiful. You can show up big in the world. And let me show you how, beyond the disease name. Okay, because when you focus on the disease name, you stay stuck right there without understanding the other mechanisms in the body that is working when it comes to hormonal health. All right, so that link will be in the chat. The 90-day hormone root reset program. We also do a 5 a.m. meditation on Tuesdays. Man, we having fun in there, right? So you definitely want to get in. If that is something that you're dealing with silently, listen, come through, okay? This is a safe space. All right. If you're ready to book your iridology, your advanced iridology analysis, that link will also be posted in the description. I'm actually going to post that now. So for any of you who'd like to check that out, I'm going to post the Apply to Work with Me 90-day program, and also the Book Your Advanced Iridology consultation. Okay. And so that is in the chat so that you can begin to work on yourself. Okay. Iridology is not just here for one time. All right. And that's one of the things that I teach my clients. This is something you have to do every 6 to 8 months, or at least once a year, once a year, once a year, so you can know actual facts about your health. There's no such thing about a chronic disease happening all of a sudden. There's no such thing as just things just happening suddenly when you turn 42. It's already been happening 15 to 20 years prior. And with iridology, I can see in your eyes and say, okay, this is where you need support. This is the organ that needs support. Let's start it now before you begin, or we don't even want to decline, right? Let me look at the comments. Hello, Empress Moore. How do I obtain the toothpaste that you talked about a few days ago? All right, so that is on my Herbal website. I'm going to post the link here. It's called Ambria's Herbal Tooth and Gum Powder, and she's listening now in the background. She's smiling when because I could see her. She absolutely loves when people buy her tooth powder because her story is amazing. I talked about it last week. My daughter's 11, and she had a cavity that was forming in her tooth. Long story short, they wanted to put a cap, and I was like, "You capping? You capping? Because that's not going on my daughter's teeth." Okay, I have a metal which I'm actually working on getting out. So I'm like, "No, you ain't doing that." So I used the ingredients in the herbal tooth powder on my daughter for a period of 6 to 8 months. When she went back, they couldn't find the cavity. Okay. We did a myriad of other things. We did the herbal mouthwash, like tea tree oil. We did so many things. She doesn't eat candy anyway, but I was making sure she didn't for sure. And so it really, really helped. It helps with tooth pain. It helps with teeth gum restoration, brighter gums. It's amazing. So yes, that's the tooth powder there. I dropped the link already. Botanical Brother 888. Yes, I dropped the link. You'll see it there. You'll see it there. Actually, I'm going to pin it so that you can see it better. Okay. Okay. All right. And so for those of you just joining, we had an amazing live talking about your children's brain on nutrition. You're definitely going to run this back. Okay. Last but not least, I believe I'm having a webinar tomorrow. Haven't made the decision, but every other Thursday we go live talking about why you keep starting over with your health. And the last conversation we had was about understanding the health and wealth frequency as one, and understanding why we keep starting over. Because here's the thing. We know what to do. We know what we have to do. The question is, are we doing it? And so we actually have an amazing group called the Bloat Be Gone, which a lot of times we know what we need to do, but we just don't have the accountability to do it. And that is where my different detox groups comes into play. We have the Bloat Be Gone, which is a 10-day beginner level friendly reset. And then we have the Flush Your Liver Deworm crew, which is a 28-day Flush Your Liver Parasite Cleanse. Okay. That's coming up September the 14th. And family, I went in last Friday on the on that live where we talked about the liver flush, paying homage to Andreas Moritz and his amazing liver gallbladder flush book, and talking about the liver flush and the new drop for the liver flush. All right. And so that you definitely want to watch that live. Before I go, I have to share the drop that I was telling y'all about, the new drop, which is going to be part of the liver flush kit. And for those of you who are just tuning in and you're like, what is she talking about? The liver flush, liver flush. When you actually understand and understand the resonance and the spirit of the liver, you will understand how important it is to do at least 4 liver flushes every season, 4 liver flushes a year for your entire body health. Okay. And so I'm still over the moon of this new drop. I'm going to share my screen. Bam. Bam. Okay. So that was the same energy I had last week. If you guys know, for those of you who just tuning in, not really familiar with my work has evolved so much over the last 3 years of my products. The liver flush kit started off with just the liver herbs and the magnesium citrate. I have expanded it to now the parasite drops are there. The parasite tea is there. We have a liver butter. Okay. So what you rubbing on your body is important, family. A lot of times we're taking herbs, we're eating healthy, but we're putting regular lotion on, we're putting all these chemicals. And let me tell you, your skin is eating too. Your skin is absorbing all of that. And so now we have a liver chi soap, and it's going to come with the ingredients that's in the liver blend. Okay. So it's so natural. It's a herbal botanical soap. You can practically eat it. Okay. Lemon peel. The fragrance is going to be peppermint and tea tree. Okay. It's antimicrobial, antifungal, family. You definitely want this in your bathroom. It's going to look so luxury in your bathroom. I can't wait. We're going to take pictures with the white towels in the background. Beautiful. Mwah, chef's kiss. I can't wait. It's going in a beautiful luxury amber, dark amber glass bottle. So we start shipping this out on August 31st. All right. And shout out to everybody that already ordered theirs, pre-ordered theirs. And shout out to one of my clients. She was the first one to order when I dropped it. She ordered it as soon as I dropped it. I was like, you my first customer. You know that, right? So shout out to her. And I'm so like happy that because this idea has been in my dreams, in my body for, I want to say, a period of like 8 months. Like I've been like, I want to make a soap. But should I make a bar soap? And then my spirit was like, no, you should make a liquid soap and make it luxury and put it in a dark bottle and get the top of the line. And that's what we're doing. So it's here. And so I just want to share that drop with y'all. If y'all miss that, if you missed that, we dropped that on last Friday when we did the liver flush, the understanding the liver flush live. Okay, but family, thank you so much for watching, for tuning in. Run the replay. I'm telling you, you're going to absolutely love it. We actually pulled out studies that shows what your brain can do on real antioxidants, right? And not just talking about it, but actually proving it with the facts. Okay. We talked a little bit about mushrooms, but again, that deserves its entire own live. And then we talked about some of the herbs that you can begin to prepare your children for the upcoming season, as far as immune defense health too. I'm going to drop that link as well. Okay. So we have a whole children's defense line. Man, y'all ever browse my store before? Your sis don't play. I have everything. Look, we got the powder, we got the herbal tooth powder. Everybody loves the eye drops. Everybody loves the eye drops. We done sold over, I don't even know how many bottles we sold. I gotta really think. I gotta look at the stats. Right? We've helped so many people with the eye drops. We got glucose support, but this is the children's health section here. I created this about 6 years ago because I wanted people, you as parents, to begin to doctor your children in your own home. And it was actually after this book, okay? How to Raise a Healthy Child in Spite of Your Doctor. And so I was giving these away with every purchase of the children's health defense kit. I had children's defense kit. I had so many of these books, so many copies. And I was saying, whoever orders the children's defense kit, right? First 10 orders gets a free book. And we sold out of these books. So this is something you can get on Amazon. I think it's still in print. Y'all got to get these books, y'all, because you know these books are going out of print. They're taking it out. They don't want you to know. So this is the children's defense kit, especially colds, flus. You know the deal. Children coming home, they all sick, snuffling, right? Right. This is the fever care. Okay, this is our fever care to naturally work with the fever. Fevers are not bad. Okay, it's the body's way of burning up toxins. So we actually work with the fever with the herbs, not against it. Okay. Then you have the cold and the flu. This is all made with vegetable glycerin, y'all. Okay. No alcohol. Vegetable glycerin, no alcohol. This is the cold and flu. We have the same herbs that's in the mucus buster is in here. We got the elderberry, the yarrow, the elderflower popping over here. And then we have the ear care, which that is for ear infections, earaches. And that's garlic oil, that's olive oil, willow, white willow bark for pain. Yeah, we're not playing over here, right? And so that is the children's defense kit, and then you can also get it separately as well if you'd like. Okay, we have the elderberry syrup, which I make only around this time of year. So we have a lot on the Herbal website, so definitely browse the site, check it out, and start preparing your children for nutrition. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. I am going to start getting out of here. I will see you on the next video. All right. Make sure to like this video. Okay. For those of you who are here, like this video. Make sure you're subscribed to and share it. Share this video. We need this to be floating in the algorithm constantly. All right, I'm going to read the comments. I don't give my kids over-the-counter meds anymore, but for headache, absolutely. Yes. Now, let me tell you, the only thing that I will say yes to Tylenol for is a toothache. That's the only listen. Everything else, I'm with you, Kim, because sometimes certain things you just got to give them a little, little emergency, little care, right? But when it comes to a toothache, I don't play. Maybe that Tylenol will be broken out. Just saying, okay? It's only for that one time. But we don't really get we don't get toothaches. Thank you. All right. But yes, y'all. All right. Thank you so much for your participation, for being here. I really, really appreciate it. You have no idea. Don't forget to share this live, and I will see you on the next one. Peace, love, and light.